Hey guys, so it's Gabby again with our Stay Home Self-Care series. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about feeling bummed out and what we can do to shift that. I woke up feeling super depressed, pretty despondent, the whole deal, and I sat with it for several hours and just allowed it to be what it was, because obviously that's totally normal given the circumstances, and I think most of us are feeling at least a little bit that way. But at a certain point, I decided that I wanted to shift that. So in psychology, there's a concept called locus of control. So people predominantly perceive an external locus of control or an internal locus of control. So external refers to basically the mentality that things are happening to you and there's nothing that you did to cause those things, and there's also nothing that you can do to change those things. Internal locus of control is things are happening and I have the ability to respond however I need to respond, and to create change despite whatever is happening. So we can see how an internal locus of control might be a healthier way to approach things. However, I do want to offer the caveat that it's a normal part of the experiential process to have moments in which you have that external locus of control perception. I think that we all have moments in which we feel like something is happening to us and we're powerless to stop it. And I think most of us feel at least a little bit that way right now. But when we begin to recognize that we're feeling that way, that's when we can kind of stop, hold space for it, and then say, okay, thank you for allowing me to understand the gravity of this situation. Now it's time for me to reclaim my ability to move through this situation. Okay? So for me today, that was singing, using my voice. And that's something that's always been healing to me and always brought me joy. I had to start small. And so I reached out to, again, Yvé, the founder of Hum, to introduce a tool that she had taught me. And this was the tool that I used to shift my energy. And I'm going to show you a video of that moment, the moment when things shifted for me, and a sweet moment of connection. After Yvé's introduction. And I'm also going to play you a song with old Rowdy Girl here, one of my favorite songs. So here's Yvé, then I'm going to show you a sweet moment, and then a song.
Hello everyone, I am Yvé Dizes, and I am the founder and CEO of the Hum School of Meditation here in Phoenix, Arizona. I have been asked by my dear friend Gabby Booth to do a brief introduction about one of my favorite things to talk about in the entire world, which is the Om. So for those of you who are totally unfamiliar with the Om is a sound that is comprised of 3 separate sounds, and it's used in yoga and other cultures as sort of a way to bring closure and also closeness. The sound itself is said to be a root sound. It vibrates at the same frequency as the earth vibrates, so it really is considered a fairly magical, powerful thing in a lot of cultures. And one of the things that I love getting to talk about is the fact that we are actually playing with 3 different sounds here, and these sounds have a almost global appeal and use. So if we break this down, we're going to talk about these 3 sounds as being ah, o, and mm. And so when we look at the first sound, I want you to think about if you've been struggling all day to understand something or to remember something or to figure something out, and you suddenly get it, you suddenly have that moment of completion or success, what is the sound that you're going to make? The sound is probably going to be something like ah or aha, right? So that sound is going to signify for us sort of this achievement, this feeling of achievement. And that's pretty common across almost every culture in the world. We see that sound being used that way. So the second sound that we're going to deal with, I want you to think about the best massage that you've ever gotten, right? I want you to imagine somebody's fingers just getting right into that knot and just releasing that tension. Or maybe you're more of like a Swedish massage person, so I want you to imagine what it feels like just to have fingers gliding over your back, or the feeling of someone playing with your hair. What does that sound like for you, right? When we give into that moment, it's going to be a deep oh, right? So that sound for us connotes pleasure. It connotes an attachment, a connection into the body. There's a reason they call it the O phase. So we've got the ah, and we've got the O. And now we're going to move into the So if you think about the most delicious dessert that you've ever had, and for me it's something chocolate and bitter and dark, but for you it might be something like cheesecake or pie. As long as it's not ice cream, we can be friends. If ice cream is your favorite dessert, then I don't know if we can work together. I think ice cream is so weird. But for any other dessert, if you imagine it, and I'm kidding, of course, you can have whatever favorite dessert you want. But whatever that is, when you think about eating it, right, and we think about that sound of savoring that bite, it's going to be But is also a sound that we make when we're thinking about something. So if you're really trying to decide if something is true or not, you might go, right? So that sound is really about us pulling down into our body and looking for that truth. And so when we eat something, we're really in our body and we're acknowledging the truth of the deliciousness of that thing. And when we're trying to decide if something is going to be answered one way or the other, and we're really thinking about it, again, we're looking for sort of maybe that hint, that feeling inside of ourselves that will help us to decide if that's true. So the sound is also a sound that we see being used in these two ways sort of around the world. So we've got these three sounds, the ah, o, and those together comprise the om. So it's cool, just as it is, to understand that we're playing with these sounds that are, very primordial, that they are appropriate across cultures, and that people have been using for, centuries upon centuries. But what's also cool is that with modern day science, what we've been able to see is we've actually been able to see what's happening in the brain while we're oming. And what we found is that it's stimulating different parts of the brain in ways that can help with all sorts of things. So everything from cognitive function, like memory, to actual immune responses. So being able to soothe and sort of reset that autonomic nervous system is really powerful for us in our modern day and age, where we sometimes get trapped in that sympathetic response for way too long. And so this is a great tool for helping to sort of trigger that parasympathetic response and allowing a balance in the brain and the body. So I hope you've enjoyed getting a little bit of a breakdown on the Om and the three different parts. And more than that, I hope that you enjoy the amazing video that Gabby has compiled for you. Something that you can Om along with at home, if you will. Until next time, take care, everyone.
Alright, so this is Meet Me There by Mulvey. This is one of my favorite songs, and I saw an interview with Mulvey, and he said that the chorus of the song was actually borrowed from a verse from Jalaluddin Rumi, who's one of my favorite mystic poets. And the verse is, "Out beyond rightness and wrong, there is a field. Meet me there." And I feel like that is a very soothing notion at this moment. So I'm going to sing this to you, and I hope that you can envision a field where we can all gather, that's out beyond rightness and wrong, out beyond this experience in this moment. So here we go.